Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and welcome back to another episode of Box Office Chat. This is the show where I break down the top 5 domestic box office results, see where each movie landed, and see how well each movie did. So let's get started. Number 5 was The Sheep Detectives, making $9.5 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $29 million and a worldwide total of $58 million. So it held pretty well, what you would expect for a well-received family film, just dropping 37%. Pretty strong hold. It shows that the word of mouth is really getting out there for this movie. Families going out to enjoy it. Again, it's one of the few family films out right now, so this is a good sign for things to come. I think it's gonna leg out, be a nice little sleeper hit for the studio, again at a time where there's not much family movies out right now and it's early in the summer, so you gotta do something with the kids, and thankfully the response for this movie has been really positive. I think it's definitely gonna make up for the lackluster opening. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to save the movie per se. It is a costly one at that, $75 million for a live action family movie. I'm just not sure if it's going to have enough juice in the tank to get it to where it really needs to, but I still think this is a good indication of things to come. I think it's going to continue to leg out pretty well, be a nice option for families as we get closer and closer to the bigger family films this summer. So yeah, while not the biggest hit out there, it does show that people are warming up to this movie and giving it a chance, and I think that's pretty much the best case scenario for this movie, because I just don't think the premise was intriguing enough to get as many eyes on this. But hey, at least people are watching it, and it's reaping some of the rewards. It should get to the initial production budget, at least worldwide. So while not a huge win, definitely not troubling either. It's looking like a pretty nice run. Number 4 was Mortal Kombat 2, making $13 million this weekend, adding to a domestic total of $62 million and a worldwide total of $101 million. So while it didn't plummet like the first film, it still suffered a very steep drop-off, falling 65% in its second weekend. That's pretty bad. That's pretty rough, especially when we are pretty much jumping right into the summer movie season. You want to stand out, you want to have solid holds. I'm not expecting everything to be like The Sheep Detectives, but you need to show some stability, and this movie is already in its second weekend showing that it's losing steam. I guess it was pretty front loaded. Most of the Mortal Kombat fans went out to see it last weekend, and as far as like general audience, it's clear that the interest is just not there. Those who have seen it clearly didn't really like it enough to encourage others to go check it out, and everyone else just, again, isn't really as appealed to this movie as others were, unfortunately. And again, this was the weekend to really show like stability, because again, we're about to head to Memorial Day weekend, and then we're right into June. Lots of big movies, lots of big, strong, competitive movies, and this movie really needs to show that it could stand up against all of them, but unfortunately it just doesn't look like that's gonna happen, really. I really think that they may have shot themselves in the foot by pushing this to the summer. I understand why they did that, but I think this movie probably would have had a better shot in October. It was a really, lackluster month for movie going, so I think while it wouldn't have saved it, I think it would have made up for lost ground during that time. I think putting it in the busy summer movie season, while in theory may have worked, in execution doesn't seem to be benefiting it. Again, just the movie just didn't work for a lot of people, and I guess there's just much more appealing movies coming out right now, and especially on the horizon. So yeah, not a great look for Mortal Kombat 2. I doubt this movie has the legs to justify the next movie. Number 3 was Obsession, opening with $17.1 million this weekend domestically and $24 million worldwide. This is the 4th biggest opening for a horror film this year. It topped Lee Cronin's The Mummy, but still sits behind Iron Lung, Send Help, and Scream 7. And it's the 3rd biggest opening of the summer, topping The Sheep Detectives and Billie Eilish Hit Me Hard and Soft, but still sitting behind Mortal Kombat 2 and Devil Wears Prada 2. My goodness, this movie really shot past expectations. I had a feeling this movie would do pretty well this weekend, but to this degree was really astonishing to see, because when the movie's first set of marketing came out, I was a bit iffy on the movie. I thought it was going to be another horror movie that just comes and goes, but recently the marketing has ramped up and the hype has blown to heights I haven't seen for like an original horror movie since probably Weapons last year. I just started hearing so many people get excited and talk about this movie, and just again the buzz just kept building and building until we got to that weekend where it really shattered expectations. This really was kind of like a mini Weapons in a way. It really just took off. It captured the zeitgeist. A lot of people really wanted to see it. It's the first horror movie of the summer, and it's the first like major horror movie in a while that really, again, really got a lot of people's eyes, a lot of people's interest, which I think also really benefited the movie. There was a lot of hype surrounding this movie a year ago when it premiered at several film festivals, and that just carried over to the release. It seems again the hype just really exploded here. And as we got further into the weekend, the numbers kept going up. You'll see it in a second, but this almost rivaled the number 2 film. It had a chance to dethrone that movie, which again is really impressive and astonishing to see. And what's great about this is that it doesn't seem like the hype train is going to slow down. Apparently there were some capacity issues in regards to this movie. I heard a lot of theaters talking about lots of sold out showings and really packed screenings. So I think this is going to have a lot of legs, a lot of strong word of mouth, especially with how well received the movie was. Of course, I've mentioned it already, but critics have been loving this movie. It's sitting at a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, absolutely excellent, and audiences are loving it as well. It got an A- on CinemaScore, better than most of the horror movies that came out this year. The only one it's on par with is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, and I have a feeling that this movie's gonna leg out and do better than that movie, despite the same cinema score. Again, I've just been hearing nothing but acclaim and praise for this movie. It really is the movie of the moment right now, and I think this is going to really kick off a strong summer of horror for sure. Yeah, just an absolutely exceptional, strong opening for Obsession. Clearly took me by surprise, and I already had some strong expectations, but this really surpassed them. Truly one of our first big surprises of the summer. Number 2 was, funny enough, Devil Wears Prada 2, making $17.8 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $175 million and its worldwide total to $545 million. So this fell quite a bit from last week. It fell 57%. I think this was expected by some people because it was really popular on Mother's Day. I'm sure Mother's Day really inflated those weekend totals last week, but this definitely brings a question on if it's going to be able to continue to stabilize or hold well after this. Again, the summer movie season is going to start really ramping up, and this weekend it almost got beaten out by the horror movie that was made for under $1 million, which is honestly that's one of the biggest surprises of this weekend if you ask me. So I'm definitely it's going to be interesting to see where this movie heads towards after this. Will it be able to continue to stand out from the competition? Will it be able to make those summer movie numbers? I mean, it already has. It's already surpassed 500 million worldwide, but domestically it's going to be interesting to see if the momentum is going to keep this thing afloat. I mean, again, Memorial Day weekend is this weekend, so maybe that'll give it another boost. But after that, again, once we head to June, will this movie continue to make a name for itself, if you know what I mean? I mean, it's still made much more than the first one, but considering the strong number, I think there were some highs that people were expecting for this to reach, and because of this, it might temper those expectations. Still a huge success altogether. It's going to make 200 million domestically, but there were some heights that I think a lot of people were hoping this would hit, and given this weekend, I'm not sure if it's going to be able to reach those heights, but still really solid performance altogether. Just with the drop off this weekend, it seems that this movie's going to start slowing down a bit. And finally, let's end the video off with the number 1 movie of the weekend, which was Michael, making $26 million this weekend, bringing its domestic total to $282 million and its worldwide total to $706 million. This thing is just unstoppable. My goodness. We have our next project, Hail Mary. I know I hinted at that last week, but I think it's pretty clear who Project Hail Mary passed the torch to. This only fell another 31%. And keep in mind, last weekend it only fell 30%. That is astonishing to see. And it was able to regain the #1 spot. It beat out the new summer holdovers like Mortal Kombat 2 and Devil Wears Prada 2. That is absolutely insane. It even was able to regain its IMAX screens. This has just been a really strong performance altogether, and I think it's gonna keep getting better and better. I mean, Memorial Day weekend is this weekend. It wouldn't surprise me if we see this fall just 20% when all is said and done. I just really think the word of mouth has really carried this movie. Audiences just can't get enough of this movie. They are just really digging it. It's gonna crack 300 million domestically. Hell, it's probably gonna surpass the Oppenheimer domestic total of 330 million, and worldwide it's already surpassed $700 million. So the question remains, is $1 billion at play? I'm not sure. Again, summer's about to ramp up. I think it's probably just going to end up closer there like Bohemian Rhapsody, but still, if it even just grazes that milestone, that would be astonishing. I mean, the fact that this movie has made this much money alone is astonishing. If this was the final total, it would be astonishing. But yet again, the train's not stopping for this movie, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. Yeah, just another stupendous weekend for Michael. And those were your top 5 domestic box office results for this weekend, but we're not quite done yet as we got another week ahead of us and new movies hitting theaters. And this weekend's big Memorial Day weekend movie is Mandalorian and Grogu, based off of the beloved show on Disney Plus and the latest Star Wars story centering on who else? The Mandalorian and baby Grogu. This is probably our first big wild card of the summer. I can see this going either way. I can see this shooting to the stratosphere, but also falling flat on its face, which is hard to believe considering this is the first Star Wars movie in like 7 years. It's the big Memorial Day weekend movie. 10 years ago, this would be like contender for biggest movie of the year. I'd even say like 4 years ago, this would have been contender for one of the biggest movies of the summer. And again, for the reasons I already said, again, it's the first Star Wars movie in a while. People love Baby Yoda, and it's Memorial Day weekend. This is the big movie to see over Memorial Day weekend. I can't see this movie completely bombing for those aspects, but I also don't think that the hype is really there for this movie. The marketing took a while to really win people over. The first teaser was like really divisive, and that Super Bowl commercial was a complete fumble. It wasn't until like that more recent full trailer where people started to get on board with this thing. But even as of recently, even with the strong marketing push, like the Burger King menu and all the other promos and ads and marketing stunts they've done, I'm just not seeing the hype or the anticipation for this movie. I don't know too many people who are really pumped to go out and check this movie out. And also, Star Wars has been mostly relegated to like TV shows these past couple years, so I think some people might be more conditioned to just wait to check this out on Disney Plus, especially when this is based off of one of the most popular Star Wars shows on Disney Plus. So yeah, all around a mixed bag. I can see this going either way. It wouldn't surprise me if this completely overperforms and exceeds expectations and brings Star Wars back, but it also wouldn't surprise me if this is another Star Wars disappointment and it causes them to start rethinking a couple things. So yeah, I'm a bit all over the place on this. We're just gonna have to wait and see how this does, but we'll see how well this movie truly does, as well as the rest of the movies that land in the top 5 on the next Box Office Chat. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of Box Office Chat. What did you all think of the results? Were you satisfied, unsatisfied? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links right there. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.